welcome to episode 74, part 1 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the 3 Quarters podcast. As usual, remember to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to support the Kenya Simbas as they are still looking to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. I'm Denima Duffield.
And I'm Ngaro Kamuya.
So today we're talking about basically post-Elgon. There's been all this hullabaloo about, Ian Snook as head coach.
Yeah.
And had Jerome been given what Ian Snook is getting right now, would the results be the same? Would they be different? Who's a better coach? So, that's basically what we're going to talk about. And maybe make a comparison between the two.
Okay.
Now, just from my perspective, they're both good coaches. Yes, of course, we would have loved to have seen Jerome being given the proper resources that he would have needed. That's always going to be a limiting factor. Let's not even beat around the bush.
True.
But in terms of maybe style of play or style of coaching, I've not. You've had the pleasure of actually talking to Ian Snook. I've just watched from a distance, but from watching the Simbas play, I felt like, and also talking to a few of the players on the comparison between the two. I found out that Jerome, and also saw Jerome is more sort of forward-oriented. Not that he doesn't use his backs, but he's into, explosive forwards who are really strong, into set plays and, calm the game down, let's maintain possession, let's have a controlled game. And Snook is more of, we saw, it's more like lightning.
Yes.
Honestly, it's let's have a faster game, let's catch them on their back foot. Everyone, as we saw, was fitter, faster. It's slightly different, yes.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you're going to score the try, I'm good with it.
No one cares.
Yeah, true.
When Ian Snook was appointed as head coach during his unveiling, there's one thing that really came out from both the CEO of Kenya Rugby Union, Ron Bukusi, and from Ian Snook himself. And the reason why Ian Snook was being appointed as the head coach of the Simbas was that he was coming to bring a brand that is unique to Kenya rugby. Now, what do I think when I think a brand unique to Kenya rugby? Look, we are big guys. They're big guys, but they're not really the big guys. Our big guys are not the guys who measure up to the Namibians, for example. Yeah. But we are very athletic and we're very strong. So you have to take those two things into account when you're building a brand that suits the Kenya rugby style. The Kenya rugby. It's worked very well in the 7 side, and 15s being a more technical game, then you need a bit more brain when it comes to devising the game plans that work for Kenya.
A lot more brain.
A lot more brain. There's always been that dilemma in terms of what kind of brand of rugby Kenya play. Do we lean more to the Northern Hemisphere? Do we lean more to the Southern Hemisphere? And if it's the Southern Hemisphere, there's South Africa, who are more forwards-oriented, hence why Jerome would be like that. Yep. Or is it New Zealand, who are very athletics because of their Polynesians, the Polynesians who play in New Zealand and Australia to some extent, very athletic, technique is key, So what is our brand? If you ask me, and if I was to give my opinion, I think Kenya would be more suitable playing the New Zealand kind of rugby because we have a lot of similarities. Yeah. I think in rugby, at the very least, the only people more athletic than Kenyans is the Polynesians, the Tongans, the Fijians, the Samoans.
They're on a whole other level. Yeah,
they're the only guys I think are more athletic than we are. So I think then getting somebody who's been exposed to the kind of rugby that's played in New Zealand would be the better option. But look, that's on that side. I'll get to that point. My school of thought is, of course, it would have been great to have Jerome take these guys to the World Cup. Forget about the fact that Jerome Paarwater is actually a very pleasant person when you have a conversation with him. Very pleasant person. I think it would have only been right for Jerome to have been the coach for the Kenya Simbas to the World Cup.
Yeah, just from where he found them to where he left them.
Exactly, where he left them and getting them within inches of qualifying for the 2015 World Cup. I think it was only right that Kenya Rugby should have provided him with the resources that he needed. I think Jerome, I talked to some guy who used to play for Queens and Impala a while back, a guy called Eddie Omuse. I bumped into him somewhere in my escapades. And I remember him telling me, I had a lot of feelings when I used to hear Jerome comes on Friday, but then when venye nilisikia ni kazi ya msaada, those were his words. Like the guy was not being paid, so he was doing this out of love, out of I think the bond that he had established with these boys over the years that he had trained these boys since he was appointed as the Kenya Simbas head coach in 2012. But then there's another group of guys you talk to who say that, okay, fine, granted, yes, we do understand, and from a sentimental perspective, yes, Jerome should have been the guy to take us over, but then they feel that Jerome got us to the maximum he could have got us to.
Yeah.
It's debatable. It's a valid argument, but it's debatable.
As is everything.
As is everything.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember during when Jerome had come to consult for Cabras during the Kenya Cup, we were having a discussion with a couple of guys. One of the people was Eden Aguero, and the general vibe was like, we have to appreciate what Jerome has done for us, but many people do feel like he had gotten us to the maximum that he could possibly have gotten us. Whether that's true, we don't know. But now comes in Ian Snook and comes in Murray Ralston. And this is my thinking. Number one, as you've said, the boys are looking fitter, they're looking faster. I think the technique in terms of scrummaging is very good. Against, I don't say pound for pound, kg for kg, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
The Uganda pack was actually heavier than ours.
Yeah.
But our boys were able to counter and were able to dominate the scrums. So it has to be something to do with the technique and fitness.
Yeah.
Our defense wasn't on our level.
Yeah.
Conditioning, as we have always talked about, it was very
When
good.
you're saying all that, actually, it reminds me of a conversation that I had with one of the players. And you're saying that part of what Ian Snook really focuses on is your individual position. Like, you know what you're supposed to do, and working in packs, like the tight five.
Yes.
And then you'll have like the back three,
back
which we
rows.
saw.
Yes.
Like, even on game day, you
Yes.
could tell that there were certain pods working together and working very well together.
Yes, and I had a conversation with Murray Ralston when they were unveiling the team that was going to go to the Algon Cup, and he said one of the big problems they had. And look, guys, let's be honest. Rolly is a guy who's been coaching for 35 years. Some of us were not born when the guy started coaching.
Most of us.
Most of us were not born when the guy started coaching. He said that when they came, there was a big problem in communication. First, they were playing in groups, forwards, backs. They were not spread across the whole pitch.
Yeah.
And if you notice the way New Zealand plays, it's not shocking to see a hooker on the wing.
Yeah.
At some point, I mean, Elkins Musonia scored his try on the wing.
Yep.
And we're seeing a lot of that. Well, and I think we're going to see a lot of that. So one of the things they said is that there was a problem with communication. Of course, conditioning was terrible. That we can't even.
And they were
dispute.
off for such a long time.
Exactly.
It was expected.
They were off for such a long time. So at the end of all what we've said, I think my parting shot would be, look, number one, because guys are making a hell lot of noise. And Damima, frankly speaking, for any person who's at the very least attempts to think from a logical standpoint, it is irritating at some of the conversations you hear people getting into. So parting shot from my end, number one, Ian Snook, Murray Ralston. These guys have been coaching for... Ian Snook started in 85. Murray Ralston started in 86.
So it's not like they don't know what they're doing.
Thank you. That's number one. Number two, Murray Ralston, like we've read, those guys who've read, and that's the other thing that irritates me. Guys have not even read and researched on these guys.
Yeah.
Those who've read, you can tell that Murray Ralston is the brains. This guy has coached, he's been in the coaching boxes to All Blacks level. He's that intelligent of a rugby mind. So let's give them the time. Let's remember they also started very late. Let's not forget who made the mistake here in Kenya Rugby Union.
Yep, it's none of the coaches.
It's none of the coaches.
Yep.
And like from what I hear, by the way, underwater, but it's not confirmed, the union has already started frustrating these coaches to the point that maybe, I don't know if it's confirmed, one coach had actually resigned. Whether it's true, I don't know. But let's give them all the support that they need. I think the reason Jerome Paarwater remained is because of the enthusiasm and the passion that the Kenya Rugby people have and the Kenya Rugby players have, and that's the only thing that's going to, when they're being frustrated by the union, that's the only thing that's going to give Ian Snook and Murray Ralston the peace of mind to work on what, because I think they're going to get the enthusiasm from the guys. Now it's for us, the fans, to actually give them the support that they need. So they're brilliant rugby minds. Let's give them the time, and I think they're going to deliver.
Yep, I think, just before we go, I'd like to say that as the fans and as, even if you're not on the national team, yes, let's give them the support they need. Let's remember that we always call, by we, I mean Kenyans, not me personally. We always call a coach out when things aren't going well in the beginning, but you need to give a coach time. You need to look at things from his perspective. Look at where he's coming from. Look at, some challenges that he may face. So let's be supportive and not just, scrap them off before they even start.
True. That's true. I agree.
So guys, remember, support. You can like our page on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Damima Duffield.
And I'm Ngara Kamuya.
See you in part 2.